What's good, ladies and gents? Welcome to the MKO Pugilism Boxing channel where we talk all things boxing. Remember to like and subscribe to the channel and hit the bell notification. Put it on all so you get notified of everything that we do on this channel. So let's get into this one. Over the weekend, Saturday night, Sunday morning for us over here in the UK, we had Oscar Valdez versus Robson Conceicao, which in many observers' eyes looked like a sort of a robbery. I don't go quite that far, but this is one of those fights that was sort of shrouded in controversy from the word go for various reasons. It was a fight where we did have a terrible scorecard at the end of it, 117-110 in favor of Oscar Valdez, which was a ridiculous scorecard, a ludicrous scorecard that I think really that judge has to explain that. That was a ridiculous thing, completely slanted and biased in Valdez's favor. It was one of these fights where for most of it, especially the first part of the fight, you had Conceicao from Brazil, who I'd never seen, never heard of before this fight, outboxing Valdez, having the much better part of the action. He'd even busted up his face for a lot of the fight. Brilliant in the first half. He was basically running away with the fight, using lots of movement, lateral movement, upper body movement, utilizing a very good jab. And for the most part, especially in that first half, first 6 rounds, Valdez couldn't really do nothing with him, couldn't really get with him at all. It was sort of all one-way traffic. You can give him, I don't know, a round or whatever in between there, but for the most part it was almost, at least for me, it was almost like a quick clean sweep for Conceicao. Completely outbox Valdez, especially in the early going. Too good on the move, too slick. It just looked like the better man. And for me, Valdez, fighter that I respect, very good fighter and whatnot, but for the most part here, you had Conceicao just dictating the pace, and the only thing you can say about him is he cruised towards the end, so he took his foot off the gas a little bit towards the end of the fight, but for the most part, he done what you need to do to win a boxing match. Sort of threw more, landed more punches, landed the more sort of effective telling punches, and definitely deserved the win, because for me, Conceicao, he was on the back foot. He did kind of cruise a bit towards the end, but at the end of the day, I'd still, although Valdez pressed the action, it just wasn't quite enough. And I think most people watching the fight would say the same thing, that yeah, okay, he came forward, he had a go, but him having a go just wasn't enough to win the majority of the round. So there's some who would say that, oh, he could have, knowing that this was kind of in Valdez's favor in terms of his home, his sort of country, whatever. It's over in America, and his promoter and stuff. So therefore, some people are saying, well, Conceicao, he should have pressed the action. He should have been aggressive. He should have sort of pressed the action and taken it out of the judge's hands, or just made it more clear by being that bit more aggressive. Many people have been sort of saying that it's something he could have done, which I suppose to a certain degree, yes, he could have been a bit more aggressive. But I suppose in another sense, it was his first 12 rounder. He'd never boxed 12 rounds before, so he could have been pacing himself there, just build up the early lead and just cruise like what the Cuban amateurs do. They'd win the first 3 rounds when it was 4-2s back in the days, and then they just sort of cruise to victory. They just move and make sure you don't hit him and that's similar-ish tactic to what Conceicao done. But at the same time, you've had fights where guys have been aggressive and even been in their hometown. You look at Chisora versus Parker. Chisora was very aggressive all the way through the fight, and in the eyes of most, he at least deserved a draw, if not to to win the fight, but he didn't get this decision in his own sort of hometown or home country. So sometimes even that is not enough. But for me, Conceicao, he outboxed Valdez for the most part of this fight. Yeah, lost a few rounds here and there, but for the vast majority of those rounds, the boss in the fight, who was dictating the pace and who was, as Teddy Atlas says, dictating the geography of the fight, where the fight's being fought, the guy who was in charge, the guy who was running things in that ring, for the most part, most of those rounds, was Conceicao. So for me, he definitely deserved the decision there. And at the end of the day, as they say, styles make fights. And if he's winning a fight using his style, boxing the way he boxes, with the movement, with the slickness, slipping punches and stuff, if he's winning a fight that way and he's landing more punches and throwing more and whatever, then that should be enough. That should be enough to win the fight. He shouldn't need to really change his style. If we're being technical and accurate here, he shouldn't need to change his style just to suit some judges or just because it's in someone else's country. If what he's done is more effective, landed more punches, he's been more effective, he's busted up the guy's face. And I know faces don't win fights, but you could see after the fight who was busted up, who was touched up. It was Valdez, it wasn't Conceicao. So he definitely had all the signs of winning, but they gave it to the other guy, gave it to Valdez. And there's this fight also, there's controversy with it because of the banned substances. Of course, going into this, Valdez had taken a banned substance which is used by a lot of people for I think it's for losing weight, for weight loss, cutting weight easier and stuff like that. And he and his team claimed that, this was from some sort of herbal tea that they take, and they were quick, they come up with that excuse very quick. And it highlights another problem in boxing, because one organization, I think is Wada, and there's some other organization that Valdez is involved with, they say, well, you can take this substance outside of competition, and because he took it outside of competition, therefore it's okay. But then with Vada, the voluntary anti-doping agency, who the WBC work with for their clean boxing program, that organization, who Valdez holds the belt for the WBC, that organization that works with them, Vada, said no, this substance is completely banned, and that's it. He shouldn't be able to compete, shouldn't really be able to fight if he's got this substance in his system. So again, this highlights another very annoying thing about boxing, which is that how can we have all these different agencies that are trying to keep boxing clean, and then they don't agree on certain things? How can it doesn't make any sense. You've got all these agencies who are supposed to clean up the sport, make it clean, make it safe for the boxers, but then you've got one rule for one organization regarding a particular substance, and then that substance is okay with another organization. So there's all these organizations. There needs to be some sort of unity here, because it's pointless if a guy can take a substance that's illegal with one organization and then it's legal with another one, and then so basically guys can get away with taking illegal substances that are performance enhancing drugs. There's loopholes in this whole thing. So I think that does need to change. There does need to be some sort of uniformity, because it doesn't make sense that you've got one organization saying yes, the other one saying it's fine. It's absolutely ludicrous. And as one guy pointed out, as Ring IQ pointed out in his one of his videos, and this is something that I think has happened to other boxers, but didn't happen to Valdez, that the WBC, there's one argument that goes, the WBC could have even stripped Valdez, because they use Vada, that's their organization that they use for the drug testing. So they could have actually stripped Valdez of his title, because they use Vada for their clean boxing program. They could have stripped him to make a point that, all right, yeah, the other organization said yes, so we can't stop the fight from going ahead, but we'll strip you of the title, because according to our rules and our organization, you're not allowed to have this substance. So they could have done that, the WBC, but they seem to be playing favourites a lot, because I mean, even when Canelo tested positive for a substance, WBC leapt to his defence, said, "Oh no, it's meat. It's this beef, this Mexican beef or whatever it was. That's why he failed the test. He's clean, blah blah blah." They leapt to his defence, and they seem to have a certain bias and favoritism towards certain fighters. And another point on this, which is quite a disturbing one, is that Valdez has been saying, "Oh, I'm innocent. It's been a stressful week for me, blah blah blah." He's been saying, "Oh, this is, it's not true. It's just a herbal tea, blah blah blah." Okay, fair enough. Maybe it is just a herbal tea, but the fact of the matter is, the company Vada, Voluntary Anti-Doping Agency, and all these companies, I think, they have the ability to test any substance. So if Valdez is really innocent, he could have actually sent the tea, whatever it is that he claims he drank that contained this substance. He could have actually sent it to Vada. They could have figured out in their laboratory that this tea, if the substance does come from the tea, they could have proven in their laboratory that, okay, this banned substance, whatever it is in this tea. And then if he presents that to the public, that would kind of prove his innocence. And there is a question here that, the fact that all he's done is said, "I am innocent, I didn't take this substance," is that enough, just listening to his words? When in fact the organization, the drug organization, do have the ability to test any substance. You could send them a sample of the tea that you allege is where you got this substance from, and that would, they come back and say, right, this tea does contain this PED or whatever, and that could have cleared his name if he wanted to. But the fact that he and his team have not sent anything off and have not made any effort apart from just word of mouth saying that I'm innocent, I haven't taken anything, that makes it a bit suspicious to me, because I think if you want to prove your innocence, there's an easy way to do it. You send a sample of the tea off or whatever you took off, and then it would clear your name. But the organizations can do that. They've done that for other people. I think Dillian White's been cleared, his name's been cleared and stuff. So anyway, that's my thoughts on it. I think they could, if they wanted to, there's an easy way to prove your innocence, but they haven't done it. So it is a bit suspicious. But anyway, that's just my thoughts on the matter. And until next time, it's MKO Pugilism over and out. Catch you on the next vid.